Hey there, comic fans. I'm Scott Harris King, and today I wanted to talk to you about Barbie. So, the highly anticipated new Barbie movie opens this week. My wife and I are planning to go see it soon, and so I thought this is a perfect time to talk about Barbie comics. Today I'm going to be showing off the top 10 Barbie comics covers from the Marvel Comics runs in the 90s from my collection. So it's not exactly super comprehensive, but it's pretty comprehensive because even though I don't have a complete run of the Marvel stuff, I do have quite a lot of them, and I've specifically been buying the ones with the covers that I want. So I've kind of narrowed it down. It was actually quite hard to narrow it down to just 10, but I'm going to show them to you now. And just a quick overview for those who aren't familiar. In the early 90s, Marvel got the license for the Barbie comics. They had two titles. There was Barbie and Barbie Fashion. They both actually ran for quite a while. Barbie went to issue 63, Barbie Fashion to issue 53. So it was about 5 years of Barbie comics. Print runs are small on those compared to superhero books. It's really hard to find them in nice condition. Um, but there's a lot of really great top artists that worked on them. So there's a lot of great covers. So let's get right into it here. Again, this is my personal preference. Top 10 books in my collection from Barbie. And we're going to start with Barbie number 50. This was one of the first ones I bought. And I love this cover because I'm a huge fan of Disney World. And this issue takes place at Disney World. So it says at the bottom, Walt Disney World Resort Holiday. Very unusual for Disney to allow themselves to, appear in a comic like this that's not being published by Disney. And basically, when you read through it, it turns out that Barbie had a live show that was taking place at Epcot when this came out. So this was sort of a cross-promotion licensing deal where Marvel was able to set the Barbie story at Disney World to promote Barbie's appearance at Epcot. But they're not at Epcot in the cover here. They're actually on the teacups right when you start coming into Adventureland. You go, past, you're coming from Space Mountain and Tomorrowland. You go up past the cars in Autopia or whatever it's called now, and you get to the Mad Hatter's teacups, the Mad Hatter's Tea Party. I'm a huge fan of teacups. I've always loved the teacups. So we got Barbie and Ken and her friends here in the teacups at Disney World. So this is just a personal pick for me because I just love Disney World so much. Next up, number 9 on my list, it's Barbie Fashion number 8. Here we have Barbie in this nice floral dress surrounded by flowers so that her dress sort of blends right into the flowers that are surrounding her. I really like just the graphic design of this cover. A lot of these Barbie covers, most of them in fact, are very heavy on the graphic design. The one that Barbie 50 I showed at Disney World is an exception, where it's showing like an action scene from the comic. Most of them are like this, and because they want the art, I think, to look sort of like paper dolls, they're a very flat, very two-dimensional drawings, intentionally flat. And so it gives it, again, a look kind of like paper dolls or almost like sketches from like a clothing designer. And again, a very intentional choice, but I really like this one in particular with the flowers and the floral pattern on her dress. I think it's really cool. Less of a fan of this logo. The full Barbie logo is great, of course, but the Barbie Fashion logo that they had for the first half of the run was it's not very stylish, but they fixed that later on. Number 8, it's Barbie number 53. A lot of these have just great colors. So I really dig this. The beach scene, I love the sunset behind her here. It's just a great cover. Now, I mentioned a lot of these covers are by top artists. So this is drawn by Barbara Rausch, but the inking, who's great in her own right. The inking, though, is by John Romita Sr., who is one of the all-time greats at Marvel best known for his work on Spider-Man. He actually inked quite a few things for Barbie during the 90s, which is not like a connection I think most people expect, but the results here really enhanced by the fantastic coloring. Like there's so many great Barbie covers that have great coloring. There's a lot of really cool Barbie covers with like jungle scenes and animals and stuff, and most of them didn't quite make my cut. But if this had been a top 15, you would have seen a bunch of those. Okay, here we are, number, let's see, 10, 8, 9, 9, 8, 7 on my list is Barbie number 39. Simple design. Again, a lot of these are very, very heavy on the graphic design, so a lot of them do have simple designs, and it really works, I think, for the character and for the art. Here's Barbie on the crescent moon, swinging from a star here. Again, Barb Roush on the art. Love the bright colors. Those of you who've watched my videos before know how much I like the high contrast since I'm colorblind. And I just really like the color schemes on a lot of these. This really pops. I think it's just a really cool image. Again, very graphic design. I love this one. This is by June Brigham, who's best known for creating Power Pack. But here it is. It's Barbie fashion number 6, celebrating America, where she's got the blue dress with the white stars, and then they put her against the red and white striped background. Again, a very simple design, but really wonderfully executed. It just looks so cool, you know. This has the added bonus, depending on how you feel about it, of having the Marvel 50th anniversary Captain America UPC box. So I mentioned that it's hard to find the Barbie stuff in good condition. There are quite a few newsstand editions compared, percentage-wise compared to superhero stuff that was coming out at the time, and that's because a lot of this was being marketed towards little girls who weren't necessarily going into comic book stores, and so a lot of them were sold at bookstores, supermarkets, convenience stores and stuff like that. So actually, it's more unusual, I think, for these early issues to have it be a direct edition than a newsstand. You're going to see quite a few of these are newsstands that I have here, and because of that, they're just a lot harder to find in nice condition here. All right, so here we are, number 5. This is one of the more famous covers here. I'll talk about that in a second, but it's Barbie Fashion number 39, which has this really cool underwater scene where Barbie is diving and she's finding the buried pirate treasure at the bottom of the ocean. It's a great cover. Now, the art is attributed to Amanda Conner. Now, Amanda Conner is a very famous comic book artist who went on to become really well known for doing Harley Quinn. She's worked on Power Girl and a lot of big books. So she's, since this is one of her earlier gigs, but in the aughts and the teens, she really became one of the top artists at DC with some of the superhero stuff. Now, I should say that this is what's called a swipe. Which means that she basically was looking at someone else's comic book cover and was copying it. That cover is the cover of Betty number 8 from Archie Comics. And so that is an interesting bit of trivia. She has several well-known Barbie underwater covers that sort of command a premium price-wise over the other covers. And most of them are swipes. So there's another one where she's swiped a very famous cover of Showcase 79, the first appearance of Dolphin, and that one didn't quite make my cut. I like this one better, but regardless of the origin of it, it's a really cool cover. Okay, we're down to the top 4 of my favorite Barbie covers from my collection. It's Barbie Fashion number 16. And one thing that 3 of these last 4 covers have in common is they have the black background with the yellow accents. It's a great, again, bright cool color scheme. I really dig this one where she's wearing the taxi dress and has got the taxi driver behind her. The cool cityscape in the background. You got the reflection on the rainy pavement there, because it does appear that her outfit is like it's like a raincoat, so it's like a taxi raincoat. I just really love the look of this, and again, Barbie fashion. They're emphasizing the fashion choices, I guess. So it makes sense, but it's just a really cool cover, and again, I love the black and yellow color scheme. It's just really cool. So the black covers, with comics in general, really tend to pop and tend to be collector favorites, and this is definitely a favorite of mine. So that's why it's number 4 on my list of my favorite Barbie covers. Number 3, I actually have 2 copies of this. I just got a second copy recently, and this is from Barb Roush, and it's Barbie celebrating New Year's Eve. Again, just a great black cover, offset by the blonde hair, and also all the confetti and the streamers. I love the clock behind her, just the super colorful, like Mardi Gras sort of skirt that she's wearing. So this, you can see, it's a newsstand edition. As I mentioned, I just got another copy of this. So I was at a comic store and they had some Barbies. You can still find them cheap if you can find them. They're just hard to find. And even the really cool covers are cheap. So I got, I don't know what I paid for this, but I think it was either $3 or $4. And then I found another copy at a comic store just last week for $1, and I bought it. Even though I already had one, I wanted a second one because it's just a great cover. It just looks so cool. So that's Barbie 51. And the other thing I'll say is that once you get up past issue 50 of Barbie, they start to be hard to find. The print run was getting smaller and smaller in that last year. The end was approaching, and that's why it was canceled with 63, is because the sales were low. So finding the last issues of the series can be difficult. They're the ones that tend to be expensive. I've noticed the price jump really when you get to around issue 58. Those last 5 or 6 issues tend to be more expensive. But even as with issue 51, like anything from the last year or so is harder to find. And so if you do find one of these, I'd suggest getting it because it's not that easy to get, and it's such a gorgeous cover. Number 2 on my list, very different style from these other ones I've been showing, but it's Barbie number 11. This is a June Brigham comic. Part of me thinks the name is Brigman. You know who I'm talking about. Anyway, so a great cover where she's in her fall gear at the farm with the flannels on, and you got the just the whole design of it with these great clouds that are framing her and the wind blowing, the cool foliage changing colors behind her. Just everything about the cover just works for me. I just really just love the look. A lot of these covers, Barbie they're the glam shots, particularly in Barbie fashion, and we'll see that with my number 1 choice. But this is more the girl next door sort of Barbie out on the farm, and it's just a great, crisp, clean cover. Very little in the way of inking. So they just let the line work speak for itself again. It's a very flat, 2-dimensional sort of style, but it's just such a great cover. So that was Barbie number 11. And then finally, here's my favorite. Hands down, no question. I paid more for this than I think the entire stack that I just showed, because it is high grade. And it's Barbie Fashion 42. So we're getting into the last year of Barbie Fashion again. Hard to find. High grade, hard to find, awesome cover by Amanda Connor. And here it is, Barbie Fashion 42 with this great lounge singer cover. I love the spotlight with the black background and the silhouette, the shadow that she's casting here. She's, got the evening gown and the rose, and she's singing a song. Just tremendous. I absolutely love this cover. Now I'm going to a convention next week that Amanda Connor's going to be at. I'm going to have her sign some of these. This one, like, I almost don't want her to sign the cover because I don't want the cover messed up. I might see if I can somehow find another copy between now and then. I doubt it. This is the only one of this I've seen, even online. And again, I paid $20 for it. And I don't regret a single penny of it because it's such an awesome cover. It's just great, great cover. So if you're a fan of Barbie or just great art or cool comics, hard to find comics, consider collecting Barbie. Check out the movie this week because I think it's going to be a lot of fun. When I was looking, I've been going to a lot of stores recently. I've been asking about Barbie, and they're like, "No, we don't have any Barbie. Everyone's trying to get it for the movie. Maybe if you wait till after the movie, the demand will die down," which is certainly possible. But I do feel like Barbie collectors of the dolls are really hardcore collectors, and I think a lot of them just don't know that the comics even exist. I feel like considering the crossover appeal with the huge, huge Barbie fan base and how few of these were printed, the print run, the sales figures at the end of this run, they were printing only about 60,000 copies of some of these, which is very low. And the number of those that have survived is probably a much smaller percentage because so many of them were being sold to little kids, again, at grocery stores and stuff. So I think if the Barbie fan community and Barbie collecting community sort of clues into how cool these comic books are, that they even exist, but just how cool they are, how many great artists did so many cool covers. I think this is something that really should be, as a whole, just more in demand and more valuable than they currently are. Again, the Barbie Fashion 42 is the only one that I've really had to pay any money for. The Amanda Connor swimsuit issues, there's 3 or 4 of those, and those can run $10 to $30 depending on condition and just who's selling and who's buying. But for the most part, you can get all of these dirt cheap. So now is still the time, even with the movie hype. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed that. Let me know what you think of the covers down below. Let me know what you think about Barbie down below. And I'll see you next time.